Have you ever had a moment where your entire life shifted in a single sentence? That was me. One night, at what should have been a normal family dinner, my parents looked me in the eye and said, "Consider yourself a stranger." And then, they kicked me out. Hi, my name is Angela. I'm 27 now, but back then I was barely an adult, just trying to find my place in the world. I never imagined my own family would push me out of theirs. But that dinner changed everything. It broke me. It forced me to start over. And in the end, it led to a twist no one could have predicted. Family dinners in our house had always been a strange ritual. On the surface, they looked picture perfect. My father at the head of the table, my mother fussing over dishes, my sister smirking at her phone. And then there was me, the quiet one, the odd one out, the girl who never really belonged. That night, the table was set with care. A white tablecloth, steaming food, candles flickering in the center. I thought maybe, just maybe, this dinner would be different. Maybe I'd feel like part of the family for once. But the tension started early. My sister complained about school, about needing more space, about how unfair it was that she had to share the spotlight. My mother nodded sympathetically, my father chuckled, and I stayed quiet. I knew how these conversations went. Then my father set his fork down, cleared his throat, and said, "From now on, things are going to be different in this house." My mother reached across the table to pat my sister's hand, then turned to me. "You've always been independent," she said carefully. "But your sister needs us more. She needs her space, her freedom, her chance to shine." I frowned. What does that mean? It was my father who delivered the blow. It means you need to start thinking of yourself as a stranger here. You're not part of this household anymore. Consider yourself a guest. Or better yet, consider yourself a stranger. The words echoed in my ears. My fork clattered against my plate. My sister grinned like she'd just won a battle she'd been fighting for years. My mother avoided my gaze, my father looked cold, and I just sat there, stunned. That was the night I was disowned by my parents, not in private, not gently, but loudly, in front of my own family. After dinner, things moved fast. My father told me to pack my things. My mother slipped me an envelope with a few bills inside, as if money could soften betrayal. My sister followed me upstairs just to watch me pack, humming smugly. "You should have seen this coming," she whispered. "You've never belonged here." By midnight, I was outside with nothing but a bag, a few dollars, and a broken heart. The front door slammed, and I realized that house, my childhood home, wasn't mine anymore. I crashed on a friend's couch, then rented a damp basement room. I worked whatever jobs I could, washing dishes, cleaning offices, delivering food. My hands cracked from soap, my feet ached from standing, and my stomach growled from skipped meals. But every time I wanted to give up, I remembered my father's words, "Consider yourself a stranger." Fine. If I was a stranger, then I'd build a life without them. I studied at night, took online courses, learned new skills. I freelanced, saved every dollar, and slowly built myself up. While my sister was being spoiled at home, I was grinding, learning, and investing in myself. Years passed. I started a small business. Clients trusted me. Money came in. I moved from that basement to a small apartment, then to a better one. I bought nice clothes, traveled, lived on my terms. And one day, I signed the papers for my first house. Holding those keys, I thought back to that dinner. To the moment they said I was a stranger. And I smiled, because now I had a home that was truly mine. But life has a way of circling back. One afternoon, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there they were. My parents. Older, tired, desperate. My sister hovered behind them, no longer smug but nervous. We need help," my mother said softly. Their house had been foreclosed. My sister had burned through money, made bad choices, and dragged them down with her. They had nowhere to go. And now, they were at my door. For a moment, I just stared. The irony was almost too perfect. The same parents who had told me to consider myself a stranger were now begging for shelter. I stepped outside, keys dangling in my hand. "Do you remember what you told me?" I asked. "At dinner. You said I was a stranger." My father looked down. My mother's eyes filled with tears. My sister opened her mouth but had no words. Well, I said, you got what you wanted. I'm a stranger now, and strangers don't owe you anything. Their faces crumbled. I didn't let them in that day. I made them wait. I made them feel the weight of their words. Eventually, I gave them a choice, not as family, but as tenants. They could rent a small space from me, under strict terms, with no special treatment. It wasn't forgiveness. It was justice. Looking back, that family dinner was both the worst and best night of my life. Worst, because it broke me. Best, because it forced me to rebuild stronger. Their betrayal gave me independence. Their rejection gave me resilience. Their cruelty gave me fire. And in the end, the words meant to destroy me, consider yourself a stranger, became my freedom. Because strangers don't need permission to live their own lives. Strangers don't beg for love that should have been given freely. Strangers can walk away, and build something better. I may never fully forgive them. But I don't need to. Because the best revenge isn't anger, it's success. And I've built a life so strong that their rejection no longer defines me. So to anyone who has ever been cast aside, betrayed, or told you don't belong, remember this. Sometimes being pushed out is the best gift you'll ever get. Sometimes losing your place at one table lets you build a bigger one of your own. And when those who hurt you come knocking, you'll know, you survived. You thrived. And you hold the keys now. That's my story. What would you have done in my shoes? If your parents disowned you at dinner and later begged for your help, would you take them in or shut the door? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another tale of betrayal, karma, and sweet justice, right here on Revenge with Laraa.